Welcome to my vertical obsession. I'm your host, Meghan, and today we are talking about Love in Oblivion, which is currently on DramaPops. This stars, which I tried my best to make sure I got pronunciations right, so I apologize if I do say any names wrong. It stars Tanya Slova as Emily, Mark Schottner as James, Eugene Lisinski as Michael, and Valeria Forkin as Sarah. Hopefully I did good with pronunciations. I am sorry if I said anything wrong. I tried my best. So the synopsis for this is Emily woke up married to a man she couldn't remember while fragments of blood, betrayal, and forbidden desire haunted her mind. After losing her memory, she races to uncover what really happened the night she fell. And I was really intrigued by this one, so I tried my best to dive into it because it just was so good. And the trailer I saw versus what actually played out in the series is very interesting. And it's I do have that kind of written down. So the overview I had on this was that the series was a bit of a thriller and a mystery. When the series started, it seemed as if James, the husband, might have hurt his wife Emily. With her inner voice unsure, you were left wondering, is he good or is he bad? As the series goes on, you get more of a sense that maybe it was him who hurt Emily. When she suggests to go to a hypnotist, it's almost like he doesn't want her to go. Out of fear, she will remember what he did, that Dr. Michael is there to help, but something feels off when he told Emily to look in the mirror and she saw herself in red hair and a red dress, which is what she saw on the stairs that made her want to do hypnosis. The more Emily remembers and learns, the more James looks like the villain. Only Emily's intuition is telling her a different story. Her feelings tell her James is good and Michael might not be. As she works to continue to uncover the truth, she learns that there is a real reason trusting your feelings is a good thing, because sometimes our memory lies. Your heart will guide you the right way when your head deceives you. And I kind of like that. That was a little bit of a message too, is that even though her mind was showing her all these things, mostly because of it was being put in her mind, but when her mind was showing her all these things, it was her heart and her intuition that was telling her that maybe this isn't truth, that maybe there is something different, something else is going on. So she kept digging into it because she wanted to know what the truth was and whether or not she could trust her husband or Michael or her own memories. And as I said, that the trailer between this, or at least I wouldn't say trailer because it wasn't really a trailer that I saw. It was more like clips from ads for this series. And when I first saw those clips, I really kind of thought that this was a ghost story and that maybe it was a ghost that had hurt her. And that's why I was kind of wait, what happened? Because that's the kind of imaging that I was seeing in these clips, because it was her seeing something on the top of the stairs. And it was just a woman in a red dress. And you're she wasn't there before and now she is. So it was kind of she's supposed to be a ghost that was haunting the house. And of course, as I watched the series, it made more sense. It was more of a memory for what happened when she fell. But it's just the way it looked in the clips that I first saw. That's kind of what I was ooh, this is kind of like a ghost story. Maybe this will be fun, mysterious. And it really made me dive into the series, which I absolutely loved because it was very different and really had you guessing who was good and who was bad. So like I said, kind of gave me the sense of a ghost story. So it was kind of giving you this idea of, oh, the husband was the one hurting the wife, but it was actually really an evil spirit doing it. And I know that wasn't the case afterwards, but I saw that and I was oh, this would actually kind of be good for a series. It'd be more of horror type series, but I think it might be kind of a good idea for one. Like I said, for this one, it did have suspense and the unknown of what would happen. You watched it wondering whether or not James was the villain or if it was Michael, the hypnotist. It really kind of had you guessing and trying to figure out what the truth was and what might have been a lie. And I know I was second guessing things from time to time, going wait, this seems off, but no, is that true? It's I know I really kind of was questioning each new episode, going wait, I thought, no, wait, it was a very good series and it made you really kind of second guess everything you thought you knew, kind of like Emily's character trying to piece it all together. You kind of followed along with her a little bit more, going okay, is he really bad or is it him? Which one is the one that I can actually really trust? And I know when it came to the character of James, Mark's performance was really well done because you really couldn't tell if he was the good guy. You wanted him to be the good guy, but he really kind of gave that sense of questioning whether or not you should trust him or hate him. And I really loved that he was able to give that performance of he was good 1 minute, but then he does something that makes you go, wait, can I trust him? Plus the fact that he was very against her doing certain things and wanting to keep her at home. And it all makes sense at the end as to why he was very much like that. But it gave off the good performance of, is he trustworthy or is he not? And I really loved that because I did. Like I said, I was second guessing it and I was questioning whether or not he was good. The same with Michael. But I think I fell more towards I don't really trust Michael so much. Whereas James's character, I went back and forth and being like, can I trust him? I want to, but he's not giving me trusting vibes. And I had also mentioned how he had you questioning if his sweetness was all just an act or if it actually was the truth. And along with his performance and all the things that he kind of did day to day with Emily, it kind of made the memories she had a little bit more believable and made you think that, yes, they are real memories she's having, that maybe this is what really happened. Or it also kind of helped sell the memories as to what they could have been. And it definitely all kind of started to crack as Michael grew closer to Emily because he gave this sense of he wanted to help, but also was kind of crossing that line a little bit. And it made you kind of see that maybe he's not who he's saying he is. And maybe there's more to this story for him. So it's kind of like unsure for him. And of course, he starts to make a move. And when he kisses her, you start to question if he's manipulating her, especially manipulating her when she's under hypnosis. It's like, is he kind of planting these memories? Is he trying to show her that it's her husband that's the villain? And especially when James comes by one time and the two end up fighting, but Michael doesn't fight back. He kind of wants to prove to Emily that he is the bad guy, that he is violent, and that she shouldn't trust him, while also trying to get sympathy for himself as a way to get closer to Emily. And Michael believed he had the upper hand at one point, but he kind of lost that because the strong bond and love between Emily and James kept showing through, which kind of gave Emily the sense of there's definitely something wrong here, something that I'm not seeing, and I need to figure it out myself. I can't ask either of them because neither of them will be honest with me. And it gets to Emily refusing to accept the memories because she wants to trust her own intuitions and her own feelings because she does feel like something is still off. And of course, when she does that, she ends up finally getting to the truth of what actually happened. And that was because she trusted her intuition, she trusted her love and her feelings for James, and the feelings of something wasn't quite right with Michael, that he was not the person he was trying to portray to be. So it was definitely a fun thriller type series and really had you kind of guessing back and forth. So as I was watching the series, one of the things that really stuck out to me was Michael and how he kind of felt off from the start. And I did sit there and question quite a bit. I went back and forth going like, maybe he is good, maybe he's not. But also when you first had the memory of James strangling her, something didn't feel right. It almost felt like we as an audience shouldn't trust it, that it wasn't truly a real memory. And I get that it was kind of easy to believe because of how James was acting and how he was being towards her, that there might have been something that caused that. But it's just the more you saw it, the more we dug into it, it didn't seem like it really was him that was strangling her or that she was the one he was strangling. It just did not feel right. But I did still kind of question if it was James who pushed her or if he really did hurt her. The whole strangling her part kind of felt off. And added to that too is that fact that she had the red hair and the red dress kind of help feel as if the memory wasn't real or that it was being planted, because when did she have red hair? She was a brunette or had black hair. It was very dark, so I don't know if it was fully black or very dark brunette, but I know it wasn't red, so it just kind of made it seem weird. If she was just simply in the red dress, that might have been a little bit different, but I think because when she fell down the stairs and she saw the woman in the red dress with the red hair, he had to kind of account for the red hair. And the more these memories getting in detail, the more it seemed like Michael was putting them in her head. And while I didn't fully trust that James was completely innocent, I just knew that these memories were not the full picture. They were not what really happened, but there might have been some truth to it. It was just that Michael was manipulating it to put him in her head. And one of the things that kind of stemmed from all this was this character named Catherine's death. She had died at a bar, and Michael had mentioned it to James as if he knew about it. And I was curious whether or not he was connected to her somehow. I originally figured it was because he had dated her or something, and there was a part of me that thought that maybe she was family, but I didn't fully go that route, which is what it turned out to be, is that she was family. But the whole death scenario, they made it seem like James caused her death in the way it started. And of course, when they start doing that, it's like I automatically think that, okay, it's going to turn out that it was an accident, but he's being blamed because he happened to be there, or he was the one who caused it. But I knew it was going to end up being an accident and not really murder. And that's why when Emily found the file about the death and that James was put on leave, it did find he was cleared, but it was put in there in the series, I feel, as a red herring to kind of go with the whole James hurt Emily. If he could kill this person, then he is capable of hurting Emily. So it kind of worked in the favor of making James the bad guy in this whole thing. And like I said, when Michael mentioned it, I figured it was something personal, because how else would he have known about this? It was not really, I think it was mentioned it wasn't really on the news or anything like that. So it's like, how did he find out? But as I said, they turned out to be family. I just didn't expect them to be twins. That was an interesting little twist, that this Catherine and Michael were twins, but it helped add a layer to Michael's character as to why he was trying to manipulate Emily and why he was trying to make James such a bad guy type of thing. So it was, all of this was done out of revenge, which is normally what things like this tend to be. But yeah, it was all out of revenge. The only thing that I didn't quite understand was why Michael was kissing Emily. It's like, why did he try and get close to her like that? And why did he try to kiss her? Because he had mentioned in the end that he was going to kill Emily and that he was going to spin it so that way it was James who killed her in a jealous rage. But he never really intended to fool around with her, it made it seem. It just made it seem like he was going to kill her, and then he was going to hypnotize James, or either hypnotize James and convince him to kill her in a jealous rage type of scenario. So it just, I didn't quite understand why he was kissing her, unless he was just adding a new layer of the revenge because she came to him for support. He figured it could be a new layer to his revenge, something different, something to get back at James, or like figured maybe it was Michael's backup plan. Those are just kind of things that I was just unsure of. And I love the added tidbit of Michael having hypnotized Sarah to go after Emily, because as it turns out, it was Sarah who was someone working with James, because he's a cop. She was an informant, I believe, or someone he had saved and was kind of working with, but Michael had hypnotized her and made her believe that James was in love with her, so she had to get rid of Emily to get her out of the way. So I kind of liked that little added element, and as we got closer to the end, I kind of wondered if that was the case, that he was gonna have her as a patient and that he had hypnotized her too, which it ended up being. And in my brain, I was like, this is a nice added element just to show how evil he was, that how thought out his plan of revenge was, that he had brought in Sarah to kind of take out Emily. And granted, Sarah was supposed to take out Emily altogether, and that he was not going to have his hands dirty. dirty. But when he found out Emily survived, he was able to kind of fix and change his plan to continue to execute it, which shows how, say, smart he is. And again, how evil and manipulative he was, because he was determined to get revenge on James. All his manipulation was basically so everyone else did the dirty work for him in hopes that it wouldn't come back to him, that he wouldn't get in trouble for it. His only mistake was that he taped his sessions, so that kind of showed what his plan was put in motion, what part he had in it. And I get that doctors who do hypnosis do tape their sessions, but I think that was the one downfall for him, was definitely the fact that he taped the sessions. I put in a note that he is a true psychopath with using his profession to kill people. As I kind of wrap up my little overview here, this one definitely had me on the edge of my seat, wondering what was going to happen next. The editing of it all was really good, and it really sold the story, so you didn't know who could be trusted or who should be trusted. It really gave the view of suspense and mystery, and I really loved that. And that is like a little tidbit too that I love, is that not only the acting was great to make you question everything, but the way it was filmed and edited to help sell the whole mystery and questioning what's real, what's not, who do we trust, who do we not type story. And I really loved that added element to the whole thing. And it really is what made this series so good and made me not want it to end. It was also one of those things that just when you thought you might have figured it out, something changes to make you question the truth. It's almost like it gave you the sense that you were trying to figuring it out along with Emily, that you were trying to piece everything together the same as she was. And yes, you could pick up on clues that might have showed you what was truly happening, but they did a good job of not making it so obvious. And it was a really good mystery and a really good story for sure. I fully enjoyed this, and I have been dying to kind of talk about it a little bit. So I continue to say I do a rating of everything, and for this one I did a rating of 8 out of 10 because again, this one was really good. I really felt the characters. It really kind of made you dive deep into the story, what was happening, the writing, the plot, the pacing. It was an intriguing story, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I would definitely watch it again. Highly recommend it. It was very well done. And I do know that that is one thing I do see with the Ukrainian actors, is when they have their series, whether it's on DramaPops, My Drama, I think the other one is Short Drama. I think that's the other one. The stories and the series that they produce and the actors are in are usually like really good. They're intense, they're fun, and you can really kind of disappear into them. So I know those are some of my favorite ones, is with the Ukrainian actors. So it's always fun when one of those shows up on Real Short or DramaPops. Even now on DramaPops, there's a couple of them. And I feel some of those actors don't get enough love, and they should, because I really enjoy them, and I would love to see more series from them. Like this one was, again, really good. So I hope that means that we'll get to see a lot more, especially of these type of stories. Like this one was a good mystery. It was different. It was very well done. And I got lost in it, and I loved it. I love when you can do that with the series. So I do look forward to more series like these. But as always, love to hear your thoughts on the series, what you might have liked or disliked. Also, if you are enjoying this podcast, please be sure to leave a review. Would love to hear what you are thinking about this podcast. I am Meghan, your host, and this has been My Vertical Obsession. Till next time.